right, let's hope the duel delivers just as much.
Be like, oh.
Sometimes I like to go to locals and just roll dice against my opponent.
That's the exciting part.
Okay.
All right, so Sirpop is starting off. He's doing the patented set, a.k.a. the Malice Tango, because he's going to then normal summon Dormouse.
This is always, of course, scary because you never know if that face-down card is a trap that will help you dodge away from things like an infinite impermanence, effect failure, what have you.
It basically just like threatens your opponent, hey, do you have an interruption? You better use it.
Yep.
It sort of begs that question, but it looks like we're going to go ahead and banish Rabbit, pay 300 life points, and bring it back to continue the Malice combos.
So, Steven Rodriguez, I know you play a lot of Malice, and obviously we've seen it on many streams already, but in general, remind us, what are kind of some of the end goal for the field of what they're trying to assemble with this deck?
I would say the basic minimum you're always trying to establish is some way to access your double non-target banishes, whether that's by having Hard Scripter as well as a full graveyard and White Binder, plus access to MTPO7, or it could just be a way to have some layered forms of interruption. You know, I've seen boards that are as complicated as, you know, Allied Kotaker at Ignister plus 3 Link 3s, or just SP Encryptor, and have that be more than enough to stymie any single deck you play against. So it's all about making sure you have as many interruptions as possible whilst not playing into what your opponent could be having.
Exactly.
So right now, Sirpop's probably going through his checklist of going Splash Mage into Red Ransom here, and he's just always thinking to himself, okay, my opponent's not doing this, not doing this, not doing this. They must not have these certain interactions in hand.
Yeah.
And so now he's just playing around probably the most scary ones, i.e. Nibiru the Primal Being.
It is interesting that the first couple of moves you make with Malice, you can usually sense out what interaction your opponent might have, or more importantly, you said, not have.
Exactly.
Based on what they're doing.
Yeah, the duelist could be patient, depending on how hungry Sirpop gets. There could be an Ash Blossom really late into the combo against something like a White Binder banish, so we'll have to see what happens.
And depending on how much you have in your hand, it changes the decision-making from duelist. So Robert, like if you only have one interaction in the hand, you might hold it for later in the combo, as opposed to trying to stop right away.
And here we see one of the sort of new fun additions to Malice that we got in Alliance Insight and Malice in the Mirror. That's going to be banished off the Malice Underground. They searched off Red Ransom. This will allow him to banish yet another card from his graveyard and get even more extension.
And correct me if I'm wrong, March Hare can add a Malice card from the banishment to the hand, right? So that means that the Malice in the Mirror could get back for that free negation effect. Speaking of March Hare, there it is.
Yeah, and like, the reason why it's really important for Malice players, or really anyone who's trying to play like a really ultra combo deck like this, to suss out what your opponent could have in their hand, such what they don't have in their hand, is that you want to ask yourself, how hard do I want to go? Because you can have boards that are just insane with like multiple Link 4 or higher monsters, but most of the time you just don't need that. Like if you know your opponent has a very heavy engine hand and you're going to go to that board state anyway, you're probably already going to do just fine.
So I want to flip it on the other side to Stephen Darley now, because you've played enough Art Mage now that you have an idea of like, kind of what that goal is. What do you feel about Art Mage playing into a Malice field?
So it's interesting because Malice doesn't necessarily apply pressure, it just keeps going, right? There's some other decks, like when you're playing against a Ryzeal matchup, every time they summon monsters, you don't want to let them have that. But here, you know, Art Mage does have a really good go second style where you're able to just keep playing through stuff and fuse. So there's a possibility if, like other Art Mage duelists, Robert is running Super Polymerization, maybe it's just two monsters with the same name and types, you know? But you also can use Find Meld to specifically clear all of the effects from them, because it'd be negating all those effects, but also have the attack and defense, which is important because some of those Malice monsters are big. So I think, honestly, you're kind of just playing good Art Mage, right? You're going to try to use your Groff Lair to destroy any spells and traps that you're worried about. Of course, those could be chainable with Malice. But I think Find Meld is going to be the answer here because, again, negating all of the face-up monster cards and halving their attacks, that feels pretty good, especially against things like Allied Kotaker or Cyber's Wicked.
Yeah. And we just saw there an exchange between the duelists of Robert clarifying just the effects of the new Ad Ignister cards, also added from Alliance Insight to the Malice deck. So Wizard backup both being seen here. And the combo just continues for Sirpop. No response yet from Robert, but it's good. I'm happy to see duelists ask those clarifying questions just to make sure that they know all the effects on the opponent's field. It is a feature match. You're on camera. You know, it's elevated stress levels for a lot of duelists here.
Well, especially since it's a long road to Paris, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now, I believe Sirpop still has access to White Binder potentially from the extra deck, Hard Scripter, as well as March Hare. So he still has probably a lot of extension to do here, and I think he's sussed out that Robert's hand maybe is not that powerful in terms of interruption, and so he's going to go for the big combos.
That's fair. Art Mage does not necessarily have a lot of room for interactions from the hand because you're mostly running things like spells or traps to power your field spell or your Art Mage cards themselves, and then when you try to pump in the Fiendsmith engine, as we know Robert is playing, he may have very limited space for any points of interaction, so he may just be trying to play through games and not worry about anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually starting to wonder now what that set card was that Sirapov set at the beginning of his combo here, because it's probably MTP07, because we know the other set's already 06, and so there's probably a line for him to go for a White Binder or a Hard Scripter play here and just get straight into Allied Co without risking your White Binder going to an unfavorable zone.
I'm sure I don't have to remind you, though, Steven, that it could also be a bluff. That's the thing about the Malice deck, is that you never know what they set down on that first turn, because it could be things like Infinite Impermanence, Called by the Grave. Well, probably not Called by the Grave. Typically, you would hold that, but could be not associated with the Malice deck.
I actually really like this play here from Sirapov, using his Link 3 Hard Scripter as his bridge into White Binder. So that way he could just instantly set up the rest of his Banish Zone, as well as get the rest of his effects proc for the turn that he hasn't already used yet.
And then new chain, I'll go...
Because he hasn't used March Hare or Hard Scripter's Banish effect yet.
We'll go chain link 2 March Hare.
Definitely a masterclass of Malice plays, though. We certainly got to see some great Malice action yesterday during the WQP, but it shows you that this is still a deck in contention, whether it's a shorter tournament or the long haul of Swiss rounds.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting choice here. Sirapov is going to prioritize having the March Hare come back to his hand rather than the Malice in the Mirror that you mentioned he could grab earlier.
Well, because he could maybe just use the next turn, right?
Exactly. Or he's planning on having his White Binder stay in the graveyard this turn, and then using the March Hare during his opponent's turn to banish it. It'll all depend on how he uses his interruptions, of course.
It is kind of nice that Malice can play in different directions just depending on what's going on. It has a lot of combos, but also a lot of freedom of play as you get further in the duel.
It is it's a very complex deck, so all the props to the people that have mastered it and really know all the different combo lines. But that's why I love watching people play it, because I feel like everyone does it slightly different than everybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like non-linear decks, essentially, because it just matters what you have in hand, and it matters what your opponent's doing to you at the same time. Oh, this is going to be a really cool interaction here. So we're going to banish using the GWC06 this turn by getting rid of the White Binder. We're going to summon back one of our monsters from the graveyard here. It's going to be Chessy Cat. And then on a new chain, well, first we're going to gain 1,500 because we do control Malice Link 3. But then on a new chain, we're going to activate White Binder to summon.
And then new channel.
This is where you could do something like an Ash Blossom, because technically the draw effect is connected to the special summon effect, but it does not look like Robert is doing it.
Yeah, there was a bit of a risk there in losing it, because he did use his GWC06 to banish the White Binder, and so the White Binder wouldn't come back to then allow him to reset it like it's going to right now.
Oh, no, you're good.
And that's one of those moments I personally like to hold the Ash Blossom for that specific card, that specific interaction.
Because you're not just denying the Link 3 body worth, you're also keeping them off GWC06, which is so huge for your turn. Ooh, but we're going for the double co-linked Firewall line. That's already representing 2 bounces and a potential of add back of 2 cards from his graveyard to his hand if he wants, which is plenty of resources.
Yeah, and that seems to be.
That GWC06 is being set using White Binder's effect to set a Malice trap from either deck or graveyard.
Yeah, I saw him go for the graveyard. Thought we were already activating the Firewall for just an extension, but it looks like the extension's going to come from the Wizard at Ignister Cyber's.
Yeah, right. He kind of doesn't even need to use Firewall on his turn. He can just save it so he has more disruption during Robert's turn if he wants it.
Calm down, Playmaker.
Because Wizards are so great, and thanks to Ransom, he has a right pointing arrow, so he has plenty of ways to keep Link summoning.
I'm currently working through the brains right now. Fantastic.
Oh my god, is this going to be Allied Code?
Yeah, there it is.
Well, no spoilers on the ending, but let me just say hi to I.
There's going to be 2, and then
I don't know what that means, but
good, no spoilers.
This is quite the beautifully played combo here from Sirapov.
Look at that field.
Normally, the Allied Code Ignister would have to summon as many Link as you have in the graveyard that have 2,300 less attack, but because he already has the Firewall Dragon in the correct zone, he now has a triple co-linked Firewall Dragon that can potentially bounce 3 cards. He has the Negate as well as the known GWC06 and the Lingaribo in case there's any evenly matched shenanigans.
Well, let's see what we go into Art Mage Town here. Robert has his work cut out for him, but the good news is that Art Mage is one of those decks that can just keep playing every card. It's not a deck that has a unique choke point, except that you do have to have at least one Art Mage card on the field, whether it's a field spell, continuous spell, or another monster. So if Sirapov does pick up on that, he may start to clear things, but it looks like we're starting with Fiendsmith to kind of smoke screen out what we're playing.
And again, we've seen Fiendsmith all over the place. One of the most powerful engines that you can run, and it's just so versatile in the decks. So starting off with the Fiendsmith engine is very, very nice, because now you can do all the Art Mage stuff after you've already used the Fiendsmith cards.
I am really looking forward to Sirapov's reaction when he sees his first Art Mage card.
Yep.
I will say I'm
going to be looking at Darling to see the look on your face when it hits.
Okay. Well, looks like we're still going to start on the Fiendsmith path here, activating Fiendsmith Track to search out, I would assume, Fabled Lure. Oh, no, it looks like maybe we're just going into the Lacrima.
I think Robert's hope here is to try to eat out as many of these interactions as possible before he starts doing his real Art Mage stuff. Because like you said, that Firewall alone could represent the end to the Art Mage combos.
Well, think about this. We know that Art Mage has to have 3 monsters on the field for some of its best effects. That Firewall Dragon is strong enough to lift 3 monsters off the field.
Right?
We will link one.
So if you so it checks at resolution, right, for the amount of types you have?
No, it's an activation condition for certain effects. So it depends, but that could be problematic because if you only get 2, then all of a sudden you can't do Find Mail, etc. So there may be a way that Firewall Dragon can keep this duel under control from Sirapop's position.
Right now, we're still just doing the classic feats with Requiem Tribute to summon any feats monster from the deck. So we're going to get it Requiem. Sorry, Engraver, and then hopefully Engraver will re-equip the Requiem, and then you should try to force out an interaction by
typically, if you're going first, you would go more into the Lacrima so that you can try and climb up either into the Lynx and the Fusion or into an Xyz play. But because, like you just said, Steven Rodriguez, you can actually equip it, and then Engraver's now threatening at least some type of field destruction.
Ooh, but are we, do we have a Bystial in hand if we're Sirapop and saying to halt on the Requiem equip?
Ooh, we have 1 monster zone available. We could do it. Says it's good.
Okay.
This will force out the allied code by just activating the effect and targeting potentially itself, as well as the set card, the equipped card.
Does seem like Sirapop wants to get something done.
It was the MTPO7 set. That hard draw is really huge, and thus leads me to believe why he went for the allied code line, because normally forcing your Whitebinder to be in play is kind of not the best when you want to, summon it back up to WCO6, and so you're kind of forced to allied code earlier than you'd like, but this turns off all that nonsense, and he's able just to non-target banish the Engraver at the resolution of the Requiem effect, and then won't be able to get any pop. And he still has the allied code negate, which contribute the Whitebinder, and then you can bring it back using WCO6 and do all the fun shenanigans that we know Malice can do during your opponent's turn.
Well, it may be time to show the Art Mage side of the deck since we just lost Fiendsmith Engraver, but... Oh, we don't want to showcase it. That's interesting.
I think that's a pretty heads-up play from Robert there.
The Art Mage strategy is very much built around that field spell. Incredibly powerful search tool. Not once per turn ability to search for different named Art Mages.
In fact, currently,
there it is. First card.
Art's Acropolis.
Yeah, he said the whole name. Good job.
So for anybody who is at home and isn't super familiar with the Art Mage cards, during your main phase, you get to normal summon a Malice Pure in addition to your other normal summons, so that's very helpful, as he's also explaining it currently.
For an Art Mage name. I can do
that's the important part he's mentioning now.
5 different ones in main deck, so 5 times as of right now.
There we go.
And it will soft lock me for the rest of the turn to where I can't special summon stuff from the graveyard or the main deck unless it's Art Mage or Malice Pure.
Beautifully said, Robert. That is a field spell deserving of the name Acropolis.
Yes.
Definitely.
The most important thing is that it is a non-once per turn discard a card to search for an Art Mage that you have not already searched.
And a lot of the Art Mage cards have effects in the graveyard too to kind of take advantage of that, and you could pair it up with some really interesting builds like White Forest because they, love being discarded as far as their spells and traps go. We're gonna start with Find Mail, and yeah, just drew a card.
You might like this then. All right, so let's.
Love the good sportsmanship here.
Art Mage, Vandalism, Assault.
Now, all the Art Mages have quick effects if you have enough names on the field.
Not necessarily names, types, and different types. So it's 3 different types. So that can be helpful if you include stuff like Fiendsmith, because that means he has a guaranteed way to get an additional monster on the field. So now I'm starting to really understand why there's Fiendsmith. I might put it in my own deck.
That's a good point, actually. So Find Mail, in particular, a quick effect, you can negate the effect of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, and their attacks become halved. So very, very powerful effect.
Now, one other effect.
And we're going to grab Malice Pure here.
It gives me an additional normal summon of him specifically.
Yep, just explaining that if you wanted to, he can additional normal summon that card thanks to his field spell.
Extra normal effect.
Okay. So Malice Pure is going to be able to...
monster from my deck.
He's got it. He can cast this whole match by himself. He is going to go ahead and grab the Art Mage Power Patron, which does lock you into fusion summons. It can be very difficult, but it's not an effect that lingers on. It's only while it's face up on the field.
Right, so as long as he fusion summons before he goes into anything else, he'll be able to access his Fiendsmith side of the engine too.
Exactly.
And all you need is any 2 monsters to do that, as we know, thanks to a little card by the name of Moon of the Closed Heaven.
I can search for a spell trap.
As Robert also explains the second effect, once he goes to the graveyard, he can search for an Art Mage spell.
As we got to see in the exhibition match, the effect can be changed sometimes.
Don't remind me.
And also, importantly, 3 different types on the field. There we go. We have the 3 types. That means we can go for a fusion.
Yeah, I believe we had Illusion, it was Warrior, and Malice was a Spellcaster, right?
Fairy, actually.
Fairy, that's
the
right, that's
Spellcaster is Latera.
And also, Patron in particular
Oh,
does
right.
not require the 3
So,
types on the
chain
field,
link
2
1, power
fusion, but
patron,
still, gotta keep track of how many are on the field. when
Yeah,
it comes
right
to
now we
Hey,
have
it's just your
2.
first day in class. Give yourself a break.
Yeah, you know.
Traps on the field. He's an
Using the
omni-negate
study
for cards
guide.
on the field, right? He has, that's a quick effect. His other effect is I can target one of your cards.
This
and
card's
change
giving me
spell
war
position,
flashbacks seeing
and
this
his
one.
last effect is if he gets destroyed and sent in the graveyard, I can special summon a Maliss from banishment, deck, graveyard.
As a,
much
what is it?
And,
It's
just
Art
one more,
Mage
it's only,
Diactress.
gates
It is,
on
it is.
the field.
And it is a
It'll negate
really,
activation
really
destroy.
interesting card. Again,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not going to
On
get
field
that
or-
negated
on field.
activation
Okay.
effect unless there's 3 different monsters on the field with different types. And right now, there's only just 2. We got a Warrior and a Fairy.
And importantly, it only negates the effect of cards that are activated on the field.
Yeah, it is
So
important.
things like Nibiru can actually
Art Mage,
still
Master
interact
War,
with this.
Well, think about Nibiru. I mean, think about the entire
This is also
Malice
poly.
game plan
Yes.
itself.
Quick
Most
speed
of those cards are
poly
going to be
in
activated
graveyard,
either from the
it'll let me
hand or maybe the graveyard, the
banish
banishment,
it, target
etc.
green cards, put it back in my deck.
That is the quick play fusion spell, right?
It is
Yep.
the Art Mage
Just a
succession
real quick
there.
question, does this one have a graveyard?
And it can only be
That is- that's
activated
very
during the
cool.
main
So I can
phase, so
stuff away
gives
monsters
you
from
kind of
hand
like
to
the
field,
feeling of Elemental Infusion.
back
Yeah.
into the
But
deck,
it gives you
just special
access to
summon.
very much the same game plan of Guardian
Good continue.
Chimera
Yes, you can
or
continue.
just whatever else you
Alright,
need
let's
fusion-wise.
go, I'm going to say a field spell because the name's really long.
That's fair. I love the
I'm
field
gonna say
spell.
Acropolis.
Mage, Raffle.
So, I'm using my Acropolis.
I feel
Having
like
a good time.
There's
Going
two
to school.
different. There's two different
You said
mentalities.
anything
Either
at all,
it's
did you
too
say
long,
that?
or I'm gonna say go go go
Yeah,
go
like it right.
golem. You know.
Alright.
Speaking of names, what I love about this
So,
field
let's
spell is it gives you
go.
like the image of the school because it's kind of like roll call, right? At first he was like Art Mage Fiendsmith, Art Mage Fiendsmith. Okay, you're here. Art Mage Growlflare. All right, cool. You're here too. Good.
Now,
And
going
Growlflare
field
is
effect,
here,
I'm
he
gonna
just
tell
showed
you
up.
you're gonna
Yeah.
have, if I have 3 types,
That's going to be a
pop
quick
back
effect to
row.
pop a spell trap, yeah.
If I don't have 3 types, I can just declare it and do it manually.
I gotcha. I understand.
Okay.
This looks pretty
I believe he's a dragon, right?
It is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna
based
set
on, there's going to be our
multiplication.
opponent Sirapop saying,
like to know
yeah,
what that
it
does.
is a cool deck.
It is. It is one
So
very
the
very cool
Multiplication
deck.
doesn't have the field spell. It'll activate.
It's
the
one of
field
those
spell from
ones that it's.
Now,
I mean,
Multiplication has the field
all
spell. I can
decks
search
are
for any
fun to
Artmage
play,
card
but
in
this
my
one I
hand.
love playing against as well
Graveyard
because
and
it's just
then-
so fun to like have these different points of interaction that you have to be tracking as a duelist.
I'll
Like,
go ahead
ooh,
and
okay, so we can
activate
negate things, you can pop things.
multiplication
Like,
and
there's a
I
lot
think-
going on.
Some duelists may appreciate this deck because your main deck monsters matter maybe more than some other decks where they are pieces of the combo to make large extra decks. Right? Remember, we saw Sirapop. By the end of his turn, all of the Malice monsters that help him establish that field were actually in the banishment of the graveyard of the hand. They weren't part of that. With Art Mage, you're actually using those cards. You can develop an attachment to them. Find Mail's going to save your life more times than not.
It's all about like assembling your class together so that way you guys can learn together and then do more impressive things like summoning the
Can you
big
special
power
summon him on my
patrons.
turn?
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen a Power Patron yet here, but it's a pretty decent hand that I'm seeing. I see a Succession and a Power
go,
Pact Awakening.
And we know he has the fusion spell too, so you can always summon one during his opponent's turn if you
so
wanted
it'll
to.
special itself, and it'll let me add an Artmage card from my graveyard back to my hand.
Yep.
Does it target?
Let me clarify.
I believe it's all
real
one
quick.
effect, so it probably
Yes,
doesn't.
it is. I think it targets.
Okay. So like you target as you're trying to summon it?
No.
Okay.
And
Oh, it
has another
doesn't.
effect involving battle damage.
It does not target.
Right,
yeah.
because it's all one effect to summon
Yeah,
and add,
I'm
right?
reading
That's
it right
true.
now. Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter where you add from. Sorry, it
I'll just
has to be
go
from
ahead
graveyard, but like
and
it's
add
like part of
Altercation-
summoning the
well,
card.
Yeah, we'll add Altercation back.
But also Artmage
So its other
card, not
effect,
monster.
which I can
So
do on
Yes.
return,
don't
is,
have to.
So it'll do its effect. It'll special an Artmage from hand or graveyard, doesn't target, and then it'll bounce itself back to hand.
Yep.
Okay.
Banquet Soul.
Robert is very good at
Alright,
explaining
okay.
these. This is
It really is.
fantastic, yeah.
But I think you have to. When you show up to the North American
Yep.
World Championship Qualifier with a brand new deck that's only been out for 10 days that
Alright,
no one has been using,
pass.
you got to expect to explain your cards.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of conservation here from Robert, not choosing to bridge into any other lines like Fiendsmith. I'm not sure if anything's
This is,
locking him right now. I don't believe
No,
anything
he's
is.
not
What
locked
is
in
it
any
on-
way. This is a
So I have
choice.
3
But the
types from
choice
field.
is
I
that
can
he's got
negate
Latera
all
that can
monsters on your
bounce.
side of the
Yeah,
field
he has
and
Bind Mail.
other
That's also
attacking.
a banish. Sorry, a negate for the entire board.
Yep.
We have a spell trap negate,
And
and we have
these
Diactress,
also
which is
do
also just an
anything
omni negate.
Yeah.
And he has a
This
quick play
can
fusion
protect the
spell, so having
destruction
more
of that.
monsters in play is more than enough for him.
It feels pretty good. I think he's calling his
This is draw?
turn.
Yep.
All right, draw for turn.
So let's see what Malice
anything draw phase?
does
I
against
wish. No,
this.
you're good.
Now, Malice, even though it's a really
Stand
explosive and
by.
powerful deck and has
Trying
some
to
crazy
enter main
combos,
phase
you
here.
really need powerful hands going second specifically to play through boards. Like, we all know, one Ryzel detonator
verify
can
one
stop
more
an
time.
entire
Is it
Malice
negate,
combo.
then
And
banish,
so
or is it
this is
destroy?
a lot of interruptions that
negate
Robert's
activation.
representing.
What's really solid as well is that a lot of times Malice will set that card, normal summon a Malice monster, but as soon as that's set, Robert can use the back row destruction to kind of swat it away. So hard for Malice to really play into this specific board too.
Normal summon March Hare, not the thing I think Sirapop was hoping to start with,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it could represent a lot because we just go, link into a Lingaribo, and then if we find a way to banish that, we can add it back to our hand, and then we can have like some more fun. If we have like a Bystial, maybe that could get us into a Link 2 play.
anything on
I think I saw
resolution?
Goldsark in his hand. That could be more than enough extension to keep playing.
I'm gonna attempt to activate backup effect to special.
And now we have the Lingaribo to enable the
Okay.
backup to be summoned, and we have the Lingaribo to stop any pesky trap cards that Robert may or may not have. We know he has probably the quick play spell and maybe something else. I don't think a trap card was searched at all during his turn.
Special.
No, but I
Pretty
think I
good
saw
first
him have the Artmage Pact Awakening in his hand, so he probably set that.
sure.
Not necessarily
Yeah,
a
go for
card
them,
that's
go for
problematic
that.
to negate, because it does have that effect in the graveyard to target one of your Artmages on the field and one of your opponent's cards, destroy theirs, and return to your hand.
I think we just used Find Mel as Robert to negate the entire board. That is a quick effect, right?
It is,
Yeah,
it is,
okay.
as long as you have those 3 different monsters.
Which he does. He
Yeah,
has Spellcaster, Warrior, Dragon, and Fairy, I think.
Yes, yes.
Would
Oh,
stop
sorry,
back up
we'll
at
do your
Ignister then.
You're fine.
Yeah,
And
not
also
getting
now
Wizard.
your traps are, playable again.
And not getting Wizard back keeps him off of Malice names unless he has a way to summon another one, which I think I saw Goldsark, so he does, but it plays into a lot of stuff. You could just go Diactress and negate that.
You could. Man, Gold Sarcophagus does some strong things for this deck, so we'll see.
There's the Druid Swarm. Is he going to target his own cards or target one of his opponent's cards? Getting rid of Medius the Peer could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think, but wait, doesn't the quick play spell let you fusion from the graveyard?
No, only from your
Okay.
hand or your field. However, Diactress, when it's destroyed, will be able to special summon a Medius from the deck, graveyard, or banishment. So
Dang.
it doesn't
Yeah, I'll
necessarily stop it here.
Medius is safe no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
They can always have him on the roll sheet.
And you always need to remember that quick play fusion, because what most likely go into is Nerva, the power patron of creation. We haven't seen it yet in this duel, but it basically can change the effect of one of your other Artmages to just board wipe, field destroy your opponent, monsters and spells and traps.
And you can use and he still has
Yeah.
the Dragon Artmage, Grufflair, so we can just change that and
Yeah.
board
Yes.
wipe.
Or you could always do the Litaria, which is the just bound or summon one from hand.
Oh, nice. So Literra going ahead and adding itself back to the hand and then special summon the
Yeah,
Artmage Power
let's-
Patron.
Yep.
He may be trying to bring out the Nerva.
Yeah, but now we have Druid Swarm, so if
go
you do
ahead.
board wipe, you'll lose your Nerva, right? There's no protection for it.
Oh, that is true, you would.
So it's a little maybe sketchy to get rid of the whole board right now. We're gonna fusion Power Patron and
Literra, just 2 Artmage monsters?
And then-
Oh, you could do that! Wow, Ilya Sylvia for an additional negation.
because it's an illusion
It
monster.
is
and
an illusion of
spellcaster.
spellcaster. I'm high-fiving myself, but that
Let's
is just some
go.
cool stuff because it's just neat to see once the deck continues to evolve, we get this, and now every duelist knows Ilya Sylvia can be used.
That
keep in
is
mind-
incredible.
And did we?
It's incredible.
Was that using Power Patron's effect or using the Quick Play spell?
No, because Power Patron can only special summon an Artmage fusion monster, but using Succession allows you to fusion summon with Artmage monsters.
Nice.
Love Robert there. He's I saw the question coming. Now it was a light spellcaster and
Yeah.
an illusion.
I'm telling you, he's going to be given the master class. We'll get him
Yeah.
up here before you know it.
They're
Yeah.
like, are we sure you can do that? He's like, I'm so sure. I just did it.
In the event that he wins, my request for Jackie is that we just ask him all the Artmage combos. Be like, all right, so just to explain this deck.
Please, please. We'll be here all night, but yeah, I would love to hear it.
So this is going to be the Link 2 here using Druid Swarm and Lingaribo. It's probably going to be SP Little Knight if I had to guess what monster it is. Oh, or Dark the Dark Charmer, because those are the dark monsters.
So
Lingaribo.
keep in mind, I don't believe we've used Diactorus yet, which
Nope.
is a on-field negate and destroy. So if that
Yes.
Dark tries to use its
You said
effect,
this has a graveyard
it
effect if
might
it's
get negated
destroyed?
and then be destroyed.
But we're using Druid Swarm in the graveyard to destroy the Diactress,
which
which
targeted?
he can't negate that.
That's a good
So
point.
We're going to be able to protect the dark that way too. So really heads up play from Sirapov there, recognizing what kinds of interactions Robert has access to, but we do have the Ilya Sylvia.
We have the Sylvia.
But
yeah.
depending on what's going on, you could just make another Medius the Pure
During your
because
burst.
you bring Medius the Pure out from the graveyard using the effect of Diactorus, and then you special summon another
I'm gonna
Power
try to go
Patron if he
Dark
has one in the deck, and then you
target
use the Quick Play
your
Fusion effect to make just another copy of Diactorus.
You could.
Because that fusion was made through Succession, not through Power Patron.
I'm imagining we want to save that one fusion for Nerva, though.
Oh,
if I had
yeah.
to guess, because we haven't done that yet.
But check this out, guys. So he used Sylvia's effect,
gonna
and now
change
Sirapop's using Dark to
Artmage
summon the
back
Sylvia to
away.
his board.
Oh, but he's going to bring out his own
Oh.
So
anyway.
it's gonna special summon
And we
an
got rid
Artmage
of his
monster
Lingaribo.
or a Malice the Pure from my deck for the rest of the turn. The activation of your cards and effects that include effective fusion summon a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way.
I
And then its
love that
graveyard
effect.
which I
Yeah.
can't do the same turn, is banish, bounce one of my monsters back, and pop one of your cards.
Kind of shades of Branded Lost mixed in that
Yes,
card. Yeah.
as a Branded fan, I love that effect.
Is that like Branded Fusion and Branded Lost in one card? Because it is going to special
Kind
summon
of.
Maliss the Pure, who could bring out Power Patron, who could make the fusion summon, and you can't
is this
react
next
to it.
turn? Oh no, you didn't activate
That's
it.
insane.
I believe it'll also get rid of the dark too, which means the dark
Activated
won't be able to
the
resolve and summon the Sylvia to his zone of points too. Oh, no, I
That's
lied.
true,
No,
yeah.
I lied. It is being summoned, which is still pretty good. Because now that's a Sylvia for someone else, which means he has access to that negate now as well.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that it has a destruction effect. Does the trap card have a destruction effect too?
It does. So you
Okay.
banish it from the graveyard, target one of your own Artmage monsters and
Separate.
one monster they control. I believe you can return the monster that's the Artmage to your hand and then destroy the card you target on their field.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah,
Is it use one effect per turn, or can you use
It,
either?
it is one effect per turn.
So
Yeah.
we've
Gotcha.
already used it, so that'll just be for next turn.
And here's that gold sarcophagus that Siripov held onto. This will get
Ooh.
him all the rest of the names he needs to start popping off.
So what has not been used yet, I believe, is the fusion monster negate on field and
Yes.
destroy effect, and then the quick fusion
Of Power
But
Patron, yeah.
The interesting thing is that in order to quick fuse into Nerva Power
I'm trying to
Patron
get the
creation,
most effective special.
what it does is that
the
once per
special
turn, when you
summon,
activate an Artmage monster's effect,
and then
you
I'm gonna
can
think
make the effect become destroy all your opponent's cards.
Yeah.
But if we don't have enough Artmages left to activate their effects, that's actually kind of awkward.
But that's where Power Patron comes into play. When it's sent to the graveyard, it can add an Artmage card from your deck to your hand, a spell or trap, but then you change that. The most important thing, and I think duelists really need to pay attention when I say this, you have to chain that effect directly to what activated. So technically the high level of gameplay against Artmage is just to activate a card immediately in response to the Artmage Power Patron search effect to
Chain
make sure they
block
can't
it,
chain it.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to block the shot.
We also
Interesting.
have Sylvia too, so just for,
The
just for
Sylvia's
reference.
also just does all that, but
All that's to say, it feels like in this current position, Siribob's actually in a comfortable spot. I mean, you still have more plays to make. You have your own negate on the field with the Sylvia.
Really heads up play here, not activating the Dormouse to play into the on-field negate and pop, so that way he just has the guaranteed link 3 here. He
Yeah.
uses that effect, and if
Yeah.
he gets rid of that, he has March Hare in hand, so I can just summon back my Red Ransom that way, so it's totally safe. We're gonna get Mouse in the Mirror, which is another interruption.
Oh, Dormouse is brought up by the Gold Sarcophagus. Yes,
Yes,
now I'm
exactly.
caught up. Now I'm
No
caught up.
worries, no
I
worries.
was like, we had normal summon at Marcher. Yeah.
Siribub has done a lot for this turn, given how much Robert had on his
Yes,
board already.
I know.
But it is kind of a testament to the power of playing a deck you know. Even though it takes a second to figure out what the opponent's doing, you kind of know how you would deal with it because you know your card effects well.
Yeah.
So a lot of the duelists here have been playing, not old reliable, right, because Malice is technically
Cyber's
relatively
wicked.
recent, as of December of last year, but they are relying on the versatility of the deck to, if you encounter something as different as Artmage, just figure it out on
Yeah,
the
they're
fly
both
and keep
Cybers.
on pressing.
Just double checking how
Yeah.
this Wicked was summoned.
no,
Both
it wasn't a
of them are
Dark, it was a
Cybers,
Ransom.
and that's all Wicked
Yeah, no,
requires.
he was good.
We have the March Hare in hand, which we could use
It's not an on-summon effect. I have
by
to
banishing the
summon
Red Ransom to
something
summon
under
itself, and then
him,
we'll
to
get the
activate
Wicked
it.
proc as well, which maybe get Wizard. Do we have an Wizard this turn yet?
I
Oh no, we
try to
can't add
activate
Wizard. It's
March
not a
Hare
tuner,
effect
right?
especially.
I do not, maybe Wizard, let me take a look.
I know backup is,
still good.
which is why you can add it with Wicked. We might just be doing Wicked for the protection effect that we can use later on in the turn with maybe like a Topologic Bomber combo if he has access to that in his extra deck. I'm not actually sure.
We will go.
This would protect from
this
the Nerva Power Patron of Creation destruction. So
That is
yeah,
true.
it kind of helps you
Chain
play
link
under that.
one.
He might not be thinking about that though. He might not even know that that's in there.
Chain
Confirmation, by the way, the Ignister Cybers Wizard is not a
yeah.
tuner monster, just a Cybers.
We can still get another Wicked for next turn. So we're going to negate and destroy the Wicked because the monster was summoned to it and we're banishing the search.
Yeah,
Are we okay with that?
It's just negating that effect, or it negates the whole card.
Good question.
It'll negate the card and destroy it. Negates activation.
So we are
destroy it.
trying to use our fusion monster here, the Artmage Diactorus.
Yeah, but I think what he's asking is, will the Wicked get destroyed? Because Wicked has a separate effect to say that it won't be destroyed as long as it's pointing to something.
Yeah, because it doesn't negate the effects, it negates the
card and the
activated
card that
effect.
it
So it
writes
would just
that
be
Cybers
stopping
can be
that part, but
destroyed
not
by
actually
card
destroying it, because it
effects.
still has
I
that
don't know,
continuous
that
effect to not be
negates, like, the
destroyed.
entire
And
card,
now,
obviously,
if another
destroy
monster, well, can it be used a second time then if you summon to it
No.
later? Yeah, okay.
No, well, that effect
So we are
can't,
at least
I should
stopping
say.
the search. Yeah.
Which I think is the part
Yeah,
Sir Pop
it will
cares
stay
the
on
least
field,
about.
or-
Yeah,
He already
yeah.
That's
used
why
the
he
back
uses
of
exactly,
turn.
yes.
Like he wants the body more than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it stays. Cool.
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah,
that could
that's
be
fine then.
problematic.
Yeah.
And so just a sequencing thing here, I'm wondering if Robert, going back and re-looking at it, is wishing he had Diactorus's the initial backup at Ignister, because then it removes the body on the field, and because it can't interact with the graveyard effects, it's really making it awkward.
Well, no, he Find Meld the backup. When it was summoned.
Exactly,
So
but
you're
he
saying
could have
use the Diactorus
instead
there.
used the Diactorus there, save the Find Meld for later. For an instance like this, where it's not destroying, it's still just negating.
Especially now that
essentially
Sylvia's
the
there
same
because-
effect.
Because like if you ever do use Diactorus on something that like Seropop actually cares about, he can just protect it with Sylvia.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
that's the territory of playing a brand new deck, is that, you know, there's all these different decisions you have to make with new cards
Ooh, I
that,
don't like that.
you know, you have to
Good
really
card.
learn
Pretty
these
good card.
interactions to fully understand the power of your deck and how it
I'm
can
gonna
stop your
think
opponent.
real
Oh, and this is a beautiful play here too. You mentioned earlier that the Growlflare can, you know, sort of stymie or pin down those trap cards that Malice has set, but not anymore. He has Malice monsters in play, so the second he sets it, is now viable to be activated, but just by banishing one of your Malice cards. And he set MTPO7, so he's going to start breaking apart this board here that Robert has.
That Dark
no
Charmer
one
play
graveyard
also was so
So you're not
good
really
for
gonna do it?
Seropop, because having the Sylvia is it's just like additional. We haven't even used it yet.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it just
not
showed up out of
threat.
nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, is that, not to say that it's on-the-job training, but you will have to kind of figure this out on the fly if you're in Robert's position, because Seropop, if he's been playing Malice since it came out, he just has more months of experience with his deck in official tournaments.
I mean, right now, Robert can't fusion summon. So if he goes activate Power Patron, I can just Sylvia negate and
Exactly.
nothing
I
happens.
will activate Binder.
And from, if I'm
I
correct,
will
that's all the
banish
interaction
the-
left.
I'll
Have we
target the-
used
I don't think
the-
we've used Growlflare yet.
Okay.
But at this point,
so
there's really
target
nothing
your
for you
trap.
to use
Yeah.
it on. Like if you target MTPO7, he'll just chain
They're
it.
just going to activate it, yeah.
I'll target the guy as
It's really
well.
good in this
Grab
matchup
Meadows and
because it can kind of hold back the field spell, like
yeah.
Malice and Underground, but obviously at this juncture, the field spell was a non-issue.
I'm going to chain Power Patron.
Oh, we're going to try. Here we go.
Summon.
Let's see.
Handgun.
Because he's not allowed to respond to the fusion summon, correct?
Or affects that fusion summon.
I
believe.
I think it's just the fusion
can't
summon
respond
itself.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
double
no,
checking. Yep.
Robert is confirming.
Robert is
It just
confirming
can't
you
be
cannot
negated.
respond to the fusion, to the effects either.
Oh. My apologies.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
no,
no.
I was correct the first time, I think.
Yes, so you can't respond to the fusion summon, yes, but
The
you
effect
cannot
of
Stop
fusion
the
summon, you
effect, so
can.
this
Yeah,
may
I'll
be
try
all
to
she
check.
wrote.
This is actually huge, too, because had he been able to summon the Nerva, he
your,
couldn't interact with the effect to change
I'll
the
target
effects
the guy.
then.
exactly.
Because it's all
And
part of the same chain.
What's important here is that some people I know have asked me questions about this. Well, this is negating the
No,
effect, but
target
it's
one
not
face up.
negating it in the sense of like
Yeah.
a solemn judgment would. or
Classic
rather
branded
a
loss,
solemn
like you mentioned.
yes.
You know,
Well,
like
now
that
we-
same thing happens all the time.
Now we
just
kind of
says
know why
that
that card
you can't
has that effect, though, because to be able to have that branded loss-like effect stops your opponent from being able to chain, so you definitely get the board wipe from your Nerva, the Power Patron creation.
Yeah.
But not here, right, because Malice in the Mirror was able to stop that.
We are still fusion
Oh,
summoning,
we are?
though.
Okay.
So, did we just not negate it with Malice in the Mirror?
I guess not, and Ilya Sylvia is still here, too. So I think
Yeah,
we
my
are going to
apologies.
see this.
While I was looking at my Stevens on my left, missed what was happening on screen there, but
Well,
there it
Malice
is.
in the Mirror was activated and he banished White Binder to pay the
you might
cost,
tell
but
me
normally
what
that
this
would
says
let you
before I
negate
activate
the
it.
effect of the monster, I believe, but
Can be fusion.
I guess
summon or
Art
special
Mage
summon.
Power
I
Patron was still able to resolve
contact
because of the
you
trap
to make
card, maybe.
this. Let's see.
But now we've got Nerva, and
Once per turn, when a card
with Growlflare in
on
play,
the-
that is
that's in the
threatening.
field zone,
That is
a
this
board
card can't
wipe.
be destroyed by card
So I
effects.
figured it out.
Once per turn,
Okay.
The
when
activation of your
you
cards and
activate
effects that
an Art
include an
Mage
effect that
monster,
fusion
put
summons a
effect
monster
that
cannot be
can't
negated. So
destroy
the
by-
conversation with the judges was he
Oh.
activated a card trying to negate.
Got it.
But it
And
doesn't do
activation
anything.
can't
But
be
it
used
is still a
But you
legal
can still
activation.
respond.
Yeah,
Place the
you still
card.
respond to.
But that means
Interesting.
this board wipe's going to happen unfettered because now he just goes Chainlink 1
Yep.
Growlflare, Chainlink 2 on the summon. Oh, no.
Oh, you could do the Growlflare or you could do the Art Mage. It depends.
Yeah, but Power Patron. You can do Power Patron instead because it was sent to the graveyard. So you can go, and because it's all happening in the summon window,
Yep.
you still
Yeah.
can't negate it,
And
I
you're-
believe.
And your opponent cannot
So it
interact
reads
with
that
your.
You just can't interact with the fusion summon.
Yep.
But I'd want them to double check just so we're both on the same page. 'cause I'm
Okay,
not
making
100%.
sure.
Right.
And this is brand
Yeah,
new,
it's
too.
'cause-
I'm
it's
sure
'cause
even
like,
some of our
it's
judges are like,
like-
oh,
and
yeah.
It's
this
like
is
a
one of those
branded,
interesting
like,
moments you'd
branded,
mentioned
it's
earlier,
like,
darling, that
it's
you
like that
can
branded
try and
continuous
block
dice.
the ability for
Brand
Nerva, but
laws, yeah.
because this trap has
daggers are
changed
lethal.
that rule, now we need to check with
And
judges
the reason
just
why-
to make sure.
And the reason why this is huge is that if he's still allowed to respond, he can activate MTPO7 in response, banish a Malice to activate it this turn, and banish the Nerva. So that way it's not in play anymore.
wow.
He'll still get all of his cards destroyed, but his White Binder will come back on a separate chain because it was banished right now.
Yeah.
And so he'll get that back no matter what.
Malice doesn't mean much to get started, so having that White Binder back might be difficult for Robert to deal with, but I guess we're just going to take a pause here as we wait for our judges to confirm what's going on.
The patience of Robert has been very impressive.
Yes, and I also just want to credit both of these duelists for doing a great job of communicating with each other and with us. I mean,
Thanks, guys.
Really walking us through what's happening in the combos.
I thought that trap card was able to protect everything, and I just wanted to make sure, like, no, there's ways to do stuff, but not stop the fusion summon. That will happen no matter what.
You're right. Shame on me for making you question.
No.
First day of class. Besides, it's summer school anyway, right? We're Cypher slackers. We'll figure it out eventually.
It's coming up soon here, actually.
But I guess my question now is, so on the summon,
yes,
Chainlink 1 will have to be all of Robert's effects, and then he'll be able to chain
so
White Binder to
Malice
that,
and
which
Mirror
means
would
White
still
Binder
be
might
good.
actually still get destroyed.
but it would still be in the same window. We'll see. The judges will clarify.
We're hearing. I heard Robert say Malice in the Mirror would still be legal. So let's check.
Wait. So wait. It did negate it. Bring up the trap card again really quick.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of
He did
sense when I
Binder.
thought I read it right. So the activation of your cards and effects. Oh, but it's the activation of your.
You're not negating the activation. You're negating the effect. And that's where things like infinite impermanence. So that's what I was trying to say.
There we go.
It does work that way. Things like infinite impermanence, they don't negate the activation. They negate the effect.
Yeah, they do. Which is also similar to like the Brandon Lost equation, if I recall correctly.
Exactly,
So again, he was able to do that. We are rewinding the game state, so bear with us. This is going to be a
So the first instinct
ride.
was the correct one.
Yes.
The fusion summon will not happen thanks to Malice in the Mirror.
And I gotta tell Robert, I have been in that exact same spot with Brandon Lost. I have gone through this as well. Because you think in your mind, like, oh no, you can't negate my effect, but I'm not negating the activation of your effect. And that's what your card says. I can't negate the activation.
It is the activation of your cards and effects that include. And you hear like the activation of your effects, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It's the activation. Yeah.
This is the wording that my friends at locals would be like, judge.
Judge.
And then just be like, that's what it says, though.
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
The English language is a incredible thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a moment to appreciate that.
Let's say the Yu-Gi-Oh language, too. It's a language in and of itself, if we're honest.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. If you've ever read cards in foreign languages that you don't know that are in problem-solving card text, you kind of speak that language without knowing it.
Interesting.
But speaking of languages, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here.
Yeah, so now the way it's going to work is Chainlink 1 was Power Patron, Chainlink 2 is Malice in the Mirror, banishing White Binder for cost. That's now negated, and now on a new chain, White Binder will trigger, pay 900 to summon itself out, draw a
I'll
card.
try to go Binder effect, I'll pay 9.
Yep.
Because you did these originally for Binder, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the original target.
Very smart.
That was all in
Yeah.
response to White Binder's effect as well.
Okay.
Alright, cool. Alright,
I forgot about that
I'll try to
part,
go
too.
Binder effect especially.
Binder
So
effect
yeah, at the
is
end of the
special.
chain, it's still banishing cards.
Yeah, that was the original
So
Chainlink 1.
if Robert had been able to summon the Power Patron, that would have been a complete game changer. But now we're back to a game state where Seropop's actually in a really advantageous spot.
Oh, yeah.
We did get formal confirmation from the judges. Everything we guessed was true. It very much is Ash Blossom versus Branded Fusion plus Branded Loss.
Yes.
So apologies again. It's on the job training for us, but we're glad we figured this out so people know how this deck works, especially since it looks good enough that we're going to see it pretty often.
Yeah, and I gotta just commend Seropop for being able to fight through all of these interactions that Robert put up. I believe we now have nothing available besides the Graflair to quick effect pop a spell trap. That's not gonna be enough to stop, I think, the rest of Seropop's plays here.
Especially with the Ilya Sylvia still hanging out there.
He still needs the damage though, and I don't actually think he can get there without maybe going for like some kind of Actus code line. But let's see if he can do it.
Well, I think we're finally going to see that spell, but I think Seropop pausing, understanding Graflair's still out there.
And losing the Sylvia just to protect your underground when you only have one name you haven't used yet, it's kind of not worth it.
We'll see how he feels as he activates Malice in Underground. Robert has to consider. He is.
Pop it.
Do we let that go through?
So Graflair is going to attempt to destroy the Malice in the Underground before it resolves.
I think Seropop values the body more maybe, but he's going to choose to keep the Malice in Underground around. I believe Sylvia
It's
negates.
just negate. It does not destroy.
It just negates. Which gives Robert all of his attributes, but I believe he has no other effects currently in play, and I don't think his hand has anything other than just normal spell cards.
That is the issue when
I'll try to
building
go
this
Chelsea
particular
effect,
deck. It's hard to balance because you include a lot of monster-based interactions from the hand. Well, then you don't have spells and traps to discard with the field spell, so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. You have to pick which direction you're going.
You might be going back in anyways, I don't know.
I'll let you draw 2, that's what I'm Alright.
All right, I believe we used every single main deck Malice plus 2 of the Link 3s. We haven't used Cryptor yet, though, just to keep that in mind, so we still have that.
Chesscat also banishing a spell in hand to draw 2.
Yeah, second Underground.
Ah, that's what that is. I really
And-
should have brought my glasses to this event. I was joking
Oh,
about it
you're
earlier.
fine.
Okay, with those three.
Do we have to change the Max Steve team name to the Dueling Grandpas? I think that might be taken, though.
Ooh.
Who's your favorite grandpa from the anime?
Grandpa.
That's a good answer.
I'm kind of partial to Rebecca's grandpa. I think
That's the other one.
The
I was
unsung
thinking
Professor
hero.
Hawkins,
Yeah.
okay.
the underdog.
Solomon's my guy.
Okay, so
I'll make
here
a
we're going for
Cryptor.
Cryptor, and we have the MTB07.
And then,
Oh man,
anything on
MTB07
resolution?
banishing
I
Heart's
actually have a
Cryptor,
question.
get the double
Yes.
non-target
Is
banish.
Malice
So
in a
good.
mirror target?
It does target the card.
Oh, we screwed up a little bit, but it's fine.
Oh.
And then protects
Because
target
Fine Mail
from
can't be
6 or lower.
targeted for your Art Mage
Oh,
cards.
you're right. So I didn't catch that.
Oh.
Level 6 or
So
lower
now
Art
when it-
Mage monsters
when this
cannot
is
be
on the field,
targeted
you
by
can't
card
target by,
effects.
level 6 or lower Art Mage monsters.
That is so
I
true, and
literally
he just
had
drew
to
2
read it
extra
just to remember that.
cards.
Oh
off the
no,
chest.
now we're in
Oh.
AP Art Mage class here because that is true. Are we going to rewind?
Yeah.
Well, that's up to the judges. It could be an accepted game state at this point.
Exactly.
That is, yeah.
Oh
that-
no, yeah, I understand. Like I said, I don't know the deck.
Yeah, that's fair. So for those at home, let's read Art Mage Fine Mail
In the same
together
way, bro.
again.
Yeah.
The level 6 or lower Art Mage monsters cannot be
apologize.
targeted with card effects. Not yours.
No.
So hey.
Beautiful. I'm not sure what the ruling was quite yet, but so far nothing's been reversed since the last time we saw this board. Heart's Cryptor was still summoned.
Yeah, there were like a couple options.
So to translate that, then it sounds like
Last
what's
thing you
called
do
an
is make
accepted
crypto, if I'm
game
not
state. We'll get a
mistaken.
confirmation from judges later, but what that means is sometimes mistakes happen, but you get too far in to rewind, so it looks like, yep, it is an accepted game
6
state.
or lower. Protect, it's
Always
gonna
tough when that
protect
comes
everything
up,
besides
but
yourself and this
Robert is taking it
when
like a
comes to
champ.
target
I mean, he even
protection.
in the moment was like, it's like, okay, we missed this, but it's okay. Like, happy that Robert's at least,
I'm gonna try to activate.
And that's because
Okay,
like, two,
around
like walking it back would be a little unfair to any one person because both players made the mistake of not communicating the game state here, and
multiple
because
searches, multiple other actions happening.
and
yeah.
random stuff has happened since then.
Yeah.
You know, we drew cards.
Well, let's see what we're up to now as we go ahead and shuffle up.
I will get rid of
Yep. So this is going to be the Heart's Cryptor effect to shuffle a banish card and then non-target banish.
Yep.
Any card in the field. So
Well, she can be targeted, though, because, again, level 6 or lower, and she
Yes.
is not level 6 or
she's
lower.
7. Yeah. True. It would have been fine no matter what. But this is going to be another one here because we're going to banish with MTPO7, get the search, and get the non-target banish with that effect because we still control a Malice Link 3 in the form of Red Ransom, even after banishing our Heart's Cryptor. This might just get rid of the Fusion monster because I believe he needs to be sent to Graveyard to activate his effect, right?
That's correct. Destroyed and sent to the graveyard. So here's the other thing. For Siripop, is this kind of an all's well that ends well sort of situation? Because based on his line of play, if he couldn't target there, he still would have been able to do the White Binder cover to the
Yeah.
banish instead.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now you might not have the damage though, because normally the way you would kind of go for like a gameplay is by banishing the Heart's Cryptor using Access Code Talker and then bring it back using that same using the same effect we just saw to pay 900 and summon it back and double its attack points. But now we can't do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we get the damage out of here. Oh, it's with another Bystial. That's how.
That'll do it.
There was one extra one in hand. Looks like a Baldrake, if I see that correct.
I believe Dormouse's regular effect, when it's in play to banish from the deck, has not been activated. So these Malice monsters are still at their base power, except for Heart's
Nice.
Cryptor, whose attack is now
Oh,
doubled
that's
to
a good point,
5,000.
actually, yeah.
So just making sure we're keeping track of math here. We have 25, 23, and 5K. I
That's
believe
actually
Power
a
Patron has like
great idea.
500 defense points.
Yeah, very low, very low.
making
And
sure.
Graph Layer is only at 2,100, I believe.
But now we're going to link 4 into my guess, Access Code Talker, clear the board with the different attributes we have, and then go poke poke. That should be more than enough.
And here we go.
So we're gonna go
5,300 attack
So
points.
different attributes of Link monsters is how access code destroys multiple cards, and we at least have the Splash Mage in the graveyard as well. So that'd
And
be
all
water
darks,
plus the
yeah.
darks.
And I believe Wicked is wind, right?
Yes.
Yes, it
I think
is.
So plenty of options there, and you really only need to get rid of 2 monster cards. So I think this may be all she wrote.
Yep, there's the Dark.
I'll target.
That's going to get rid of the Graph Flare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I couldn't respond to access code anyhow.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna try to go Wizard Effect to special.
Okay.
I will target.
We still have more.
Wow.
Now,
I forgot
what
we
are
had
the
to do
odds that Robert has a Nibiru in hand?
Oof.
Not 0.
Not 0.
There's always a chance.
Try to leave main phase.
We're going to go to Battle Phase
Sounds
here.
good.
Okay.
We are leaving the main phase. Sounds good. Does not sound like Nibiru.
Yeah, we're going to swing 15 at the Art
So
Mage.
she's currently at 5, so I'll swing for 5.
And then there's the
Oh,
handshake.
there's the
There it is.
handshake.
I misplayed there and it cost me.
2-0 for Siripop.